Hey, I'm Scotty T from Your Comedy Minute. I have a wonderful, wonderful comedian. Patrick Golden is here. Patrick, thank you so much for being here, buddy.
Thank you, thank you. I'm
Thank
happy
you,
to be
thank you.
here.
Little Vanna
Yeah,
White
the
wave.
Queen, the
There you
Queen
go.
wave.
A
Rest in
Vanna
peace.
White wave. That's the first Vanna White wave we've had on Your Comedy Minute. Patrick, you're from Houston, Texas. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Houston, born and raised.
Okay.
Went to the University of Texas at Austin for college, and then moved to
Okay.
New York City about 3 years ago.
Well,
But
now don't jump
most of my
ahead.
life,
Don't jump ahead. I'm in charge. All
and then I'm
right.
gonna die in
I'm
10
in
years.
charge. We didn't get out of Texas yet. All right.
All
We'll
right,
get
back
into
to Texas.
Brooklyn. We're going to get to Brooklyn. You back her down, Hot Rod. Brooklyn is where you're at now. Brooklyn, New York.
Yes, sir.
How
Brooklyn.
did you end up there?
It's random. I had a job that went remote during COVID, and I started traveling, and I had a friend that was studying in Brooklyn, going to Brooklyn College, and he had a room open up because his roommate moved out during the pandemic. And I guess
Okay.
I moved in with another friend into that room, and he also is a comedian. And it was just kind
Okay.
of me with two buddies from high school, that one of who I went to college with, and it just made moving to the city so easy because you basically had like your buddies there already to like show you the ropes and go do shit with. And uh yeah, so it was easy. It just kind of literally someone asked me to move in with them, and the rent was cheap. I only paid like 600 a month for like
Okay.
my first year living there. This is unheard of, basically.
Was it a real I've been to Brooklyn. I haven't been to Houston. Was it a huge difference for you or no?
Well, before I was in Brooklyn, I was briefly in Chicago, which
Okay.
kind of gave me a little tease of like what the life would be like. I
Set
say,
you up.
but it takes so much time getting used to just like the way, not the pace of life necessarily, because I used to always kind of live that like fast, like thing after thing after thing, right?
Okay.
But it's more so like how the traffic flow, like the rules of the road, like learning how to be a driver in the city when I showed up in my car was like the biggest pain in the ass.
In New York. Yeah.
And just in the sheer density of people too, like there's
Yeah.
no breathing room, there's no green spaces. Like Houston, you definitely get the multicultural flair, like people from everywhere around there, all
Yeah.
food from all around the world. But Houston's way more like LA in the sense that there's not like a Manhattan. It's all like kind of different pockets of places,
All
and you
right.
drive around, and you all have your free breathing room. You don't even get breathing room in New York. That
No.
costs $5 an hour.
Right. Well, you mentioned green spaces, I know why you did it. I know why you did it. Don't think you're slipping one past Scotty T. Go ahead. Do you want to tell him or should I?
Uh, Well, I work as a gardener in the city. That's one of my main ways of making money.
Yeah, that to me, you sent me an article about from, and I will, I'll because you don't want to do it, but I will. I think it's pretty cool. Indeed, the website, the job Indeed, wrote an article about this young man, and it was about your business. And now you can go and tell him about your business. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I was working for corporate America, working a very niche technical marketing role that
Right.
really grew to like dislike. And I hated the remote work setup. The last company I worked with, I didn't meet a single person I was working with in person, and it was just whack. And I needed to like use my body. I felt like I was starting getting back pains, crouched over the computer all day, and
Okay.
I wanted to go from literally working a remote job where I'm at home all day just eating potato chips with like the TV going on in the background, to like actually working outside, getting my exercise in, interacting with people, like being out and about in New York City, like interacting with different contract workers, people that work for buildings, city officials. And I don't know, it just made me feel like I was actually alive again. Like,
Well,
especially the
you're doing a
pandemic,
lot of
everything.
you're doing a lot of talking about all that, but you're not. But what I think was really cool, you mentioned green spaces in New York. When I think of, like you said, New York City, I
Yeah,
don't
where are
think
the
of a lot of
gardens?
green spaces. I'm thinking,
They're
man,
all in
this
the
poor guy.
sky.
Yeah,
They're all in the sky along places like Central Park, or, people's terraces. And some of these are dreamlike, like huge places. I'm talking gardens that are the size
You're
of
saying on the roof, on the roofs of the building?
yes, like you go
That's what
to
I
like
thought you were
the 80th,
saying.
yeah, you'll go up
Wow.
to like the 80th floor of like a building overlooking Central Park, and there will be a garden the size of like a whole floor in an apartment. Just like, and someone spent probably like $1 million just on the gardening.
Well,
Crazy.
we haven't talked about comedy at all, but I just want to mention this real quick because there is something I've done a lot in my life. I've worked in the music business, and I'll never forget my brother came over, and I have a picture with Ringo Starr and Kiss and different bands I've been with, and he was like, "Man, brother," he goes, "you got a picture with a Beatle, and now you're into gardening." And you know what? It's true. I really used to love, and I don't have the time now, but I used to love. I had a huge garden. There's something about putting seeds in the ground and watching them grow, and me eating the tomatoes. My God, I love fresh
To eat
tomatoes and
something you grew is
the
badass. You feel
corn.
like
Yeah, people that don't do it or never did it, they will never appreciate what it's like to put a little piece of corn in the ground and go out 3 months later and then drag in some corn and. Oof. But let's get to comedy. Enough of that crap. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. All right, Patrick. I'm sorry. When did you start doing comedy? Let's do comedy for a bit.
oh gosh. I did comedy. I started comedy seriously, like every single night, going out and about type shit, like 3 years ago, a little under
Okay.
3 years ago, like July 2021. But I'd done some spots before that. Like I did a couple open mics when I was in Austin, but it was always more of like a gimmick rather than like oh, I want to
Okay.
pursue this.
You
But
weren't taking it seriously.
no, nor did I even think that was something I would ever want to do. It felt more like, oh, I like to act. Let me like try an open mic once. That sounds fun to do like
Okay.
one.
Well, let me stop you for a second because that brings up a question I always ask, and it's written down here. What was the catalyst 3 years ago or back when you were in Texas or whatever? What was the catalyst that made you say, "Well, I want to try comedy"? Was there a catalyst?
I think I was at a point in life where I was hating it. I started gardening right around the same time I started comedy. I think it came from the same feeling of literally kind of like, I hate how I'm living right now, and I want to live a life that I feel like represents how I'm feeling more
Wow.
and who I am. And I think it was like I associate doing comedy with the sense of like self-empowerment, like and confidence and learning to learn who I really am. And I felt like it was once I did that first open mic with my friend, I felt like there was just like something like a fire burning within me. It just like that's
Okay.
all I wanted to do. And it felt completely natural too. It didn't feel like it's because I listened to an episode of Joe Rogan or something. And no,
Mm.
it was like, no, I legit just felt some crazy fire and I was like, shit, I want to make people laugh. Like that's all I want to do right now.
Okay. Well, speaking of which, why don't you make me laugh a little bit? Just do a couple bits. And again,
Okay.
I'll tell you, I will warn you guys at home, this man does some material. I thought you were going to get killed on stage. You're laughing, but I'm not joking.
All right. Here's a joke. Here's a joke. Here's a
Do
joke.
you know what I'm talking about? The
I don't
eyes of
know.
the eyes of justice or something? I
All right.
got you, didn't I?
All right. Here's a joke. Here's a joke.
All
This
right.
is the first one-liner I ever wrote, actually.
Okay.
Okay. Um, they say that justice is blind, which makes sense because when you close your eyes, all you see is black.
I
That's
didn't
one.
do it.
That's one.
I didn't do it. Wasn't me.
All right. All right. Here's another one. All right. So there's still some sects of Mormonism that practice polygamy, like in
Right.
remote areas of like Idaho, Wyoming, Utah, whatever, right?
Right.
Which has always been confusing for me because why is it called the Book of More Men? Shouldn't it be called the Book of More Bitches?
Go ahead.
Okay, all
You do a
right.
couple more. I don't just stop shaking around. You're making me epileptic. Feel like I'm an epileptic. Stop
My bad,
shaking
my bad.
around.
All right. So my first job out of college, true story, I worked as a brand ambassador for Planters Peanuts, and I had to drive a
Are
giant peanut around
are
America.
you kidding? Are you being honest?
This is true story. I had to drive
Okay.
a giant peanut around America called the Planters Nutmobile, y'all, to festivals and fairs all around the country. And let me tell you something. When you drive a peanut for a living, busting a nut takes a far different connotation. Because normally when I bust a nut in my room, I don't have to call AAA.
That's great. Keep going. You keep going. I have no
Eh,
problem with it.
I this joke got me in trouble in high school because I posted on Facebook. My grandma called me after
Oh,
I
okay.
I never understood why the church could be against homosexuality. Because isn't communion just getting on your knees and taking the body of a man and putting in your mouth?
Jeez Louise. Well, keep going if you want, because it takes me to my next question.
Here's my impression of Donald Trump saying the word China.
Okay.
China.
I can do an impression.
Yeah, shoot. Of Trump?
Um,
Anybody.
what do you want? You want like a Michael Jackson impression?
Sure. Just
Okay,
don't touch
ready?
me, bro. Is that him dead?
What do you think? It's an Elvis too, you know. I can't tell. Were you laughing at all? Did
No,
you
I
get it?
was laughing. That made me
Okay,
laugh.
I didn't know if you got it or not. Well, we can keep going, but I just, because that ties into when you do that kind of material, do you adjust it? In other words, that you've been doing it for a few years, you play different places, like that opening joke.
Yeah, for sure. I've had to do shows where it's 20 minutes of clean comedy only. Like
Okay,
I can think of one time I did like a basically like a 15 plus minute spot at like a nonprofit. It was like a fair, a fundraiser in
okay,
Plainfield, New Jersey. And I think to me, because sometimes I don't like to do like those kind of one-liners. I like to do more like goofy physical humor, kind of like Jim Carrey, Robin Williams stuff. And I
right,
think I'll lean into more of performing that kind of material because it's more so like it's just what I'm doing with my body or making a goofy voice that's making people laugh.
yeah,
Whereas like if I'm at a bar and it's like 2 a.m. on a Tuesday, like that's when the people want to hear like the really raunchy, like messed up stuff. I
right.
think it takes a sense of knowing. And then if it's like at a club or like more of like a pristine event, I think you can lean into some of the dirty stuff, but not necessarily. I'd probably blend it both, not make it my whole act, but kind of depends
What's your
on my audience.
favorite person? What do you personally like to do more, or doesn't it matter?
I like being in a space where there's just no restrictions. Like that doesn't mean I have to do a whole dirty set. I just don't like the feeling of
Yeah,
anybody
watch
being
what you
like,
say.
"Hey, watch what you say." Where it's
Yeah,
like,
watch what
it
you
wasn't my
say.
intention to be an asshole, but now you kind of want to make me be an asshole.
Yeah, yeah, I'm the same way. The last thing you want to do to me is say, "Well, don't that guy." You know, the first thing I'm doing.
Well, that's what I'm a big. I mean, of course, freaking every comedian at least says this, but I'm a big like free speech advocate. I'm all about like you need to let everything be said, and like because I don't know, I feel like I think nothing ever goes well when someone's not allowed to say something
Well, I'm
or
going to blow you away. I'll just take the, because I mean, I was blown away. This just happened last week. I've done 150 of these or more now. I did one with a young lady named Starla who's coming up, and I was shocked. Hold on to something. This is true when you talk about that, because that hits a nerve with me. She said that Netflix, she was going to be on Netflix or something, and basically Netflix said you have to take, because I asked her about her YouTube channel, and she said there used to be a lot more stuff up there, but I had to take it down because Netflix was not going to put her on this. and maybe it was a kid's show or whatever, but they didn't want that content up, you know. But yeah, I've been kicked off. I got kicked off Facebook 9 times in a year. YouTube got kicked off for 3 days, then 7 days, you know. I know, and I saw recently a young lady use the C word, and she got her monetization. They cut all her ads because they called it hate speech.
It's crazy because now these days, especially with the use of like AI technology, it's not even human being, it's like robots reviewing it. So that I feel like there's gonna be more just random like you could have said funt, right? And they thought you said something else. It's weird how sometimes it feels almost like wow, like
Well, you touched on, and you did send me this video, and I want to mention it because, and I think that that's what's really cool about you, Patrick, is that you are very diverse. Like you mentioned, if it's 2 o'clock in the morning and you're in a bar, you're going to do this. But you sent me a video, a Pokemon music video.
yeah.
No, brother, I got to mention it because,
I became kind of infamous about it.
yeah, well, and you know, I don't know why, because it's private. In other words, you don't have it posted.
I
You
posted
haven't
it
sent
for
it to
one
me.
day.
What's that?
I posted it for one day on my Instagram and then I removed it and I had people messaging me for the video for days afterwards and
Well, you know, I have it now, so I'm going to do it. No, I'm
yeah, might as well
kidding.
make my
No, I
life
can't do it. It's on YouTube and
10%.
you have it marked as unlisted. And it's really cool. It's like people send me stuff and it's like, I think you should put that up.
Definitely, yeah. I'm really proud of that performance too because it was also impromptu. Like I thought to do that performance, like I thought to do that performance maybe like 5 minutes before my time was called to go up there because I didn't have to use the band.
Well,
I could
that band was really good. See, I worked in the music business and
yeah.
that band was really good.
Yeah, no,
They
they
were
were
dynamite.
yeah.
And you
They
were really good. And the words were great. It was funny.
were
No, it was.
No, I love doing that.
I
I
mean,
I love
your
karaoke.
singing wasn't great, but it was funny.
It was passionate. It was the
Oh
passion.
yeah, yeah, there was passion. There was some passion.
You
I
sound like
gotta
every
sing.
sex
I
partner
gotta
said
sing.
that.
It's in my blood. Get a transfusion. I've heard you sing. Just
Type F
get a
minus.
transfusion there, son.
I've type F minus blood.
No, no, you were fine. No, I'm joking, but no, it's a cool video, and the band is great, and yeah, I think like the reason I brought it up is because uh to be that diverse, to do stand-up comedy and then to do something like that, uh and you brought it up as far as Instagram, TikTok, are you doing those?
Ah, that see, that's a question I've been asked before that I still wrestle with. So
Yeah.
I'm on both platforms, just to be clear. Like I consume the content, like I follow the trends. Instagram, I almost feel like to me, I view it as comedy LinkedIn because that's where all the networking, announcement of shows, and messages with bookers happens now. Like Instagram is almost it's more important than email at this point.
Instagram is huge.
Facebook's probably second in terms of how I'm communicating directly with bookers.
Okay.
And I don't know. I guess for a couple reasons. One, similar to your friend that was like going after the Netflix stuff, I feel like some of my material is just like crude or like really dirty, and it's something that I have private listed videos for that I can send to, but I'm not at the point
No,
where I
that's okay. That's okay.
understand, you know. But
No, I
I
gotta
also
tell
don't
you, I
like
think
content. I don't like being a content creator. I like being a comic, but I do say that at the same time, realizing that pretty much the only way to make money, build your following, is to lean into those platforms. And I guess I'm maybe one of the last holdouts, even as I can
no,
acknowledge that's probably a detriment to my career.
listen, the only reason, and I'm 60, I'm gonna be 62 in August. So I got a few years on you. And I don't know anything about anything. You take this for what it's worth $1. But be true to yourself, okay? And that means if you don't want to do the Instagram, TikTok thing, I'm just telling you that this is what I'm hearing. I've done 150s. I've had some really great comedians, comedy legends. I've had the TikTok, Instagram. I had a girl that does OnlyFans. Okay. So to me, it's like there's a two different things. Yeah. For instance, I did one with a guy who's coming up this week called Just Dev. And he says, I'm not doing an Instagram, TikTok bullshit. I'm doing stand-up comedy because I want to do it the true way. And there's stand-up comics out there that really don't like the Instagram, TikTok people because they can pack a room, but they don't feel like they're very good comedians. So, you got me on a little rant there because I feel both sides.
For
I
sure.
feel the content creators. I know there's people out there. Eddie Colson, who I had on the show, makes some great videos. Jada Funnyman makes some great videos, and they're also real good stand-up comics. And I think it's hard to be able to, like for me, I'm preaching. You're preaching a guy that doesn't do any skits. I've been told forever, Scotty, you should do some skits. I don't want to do skits. I'm too damn old to do skits.
No,
I'm
you
lucky to be sitting here with you for shit's sake. You know the life I've lived? It's a fucking miracle I'm alive. I'm not doing skits ever. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, I also feel like now I've seen two trends with how people are performing their stand-up sets, not just for audiences that discover them through their content online, but sometimes it's almost like they're not performing for either the audience that's in front of them or for the present moment. It's with the idea knowing that this material is then being recorded and can then be chopped up or remixed or presented in a new way as the bit that takes off online. So it's almost like there's less consideration for, I think, the audience. It's all about, consideration for the algorithm
Okay, that's a great point. That's a great point.
and
Because
crowd work too.
what you're talking about, for people that don't understand what you're talking about, you're talking about having a 5-minute set or a 10-minute set versus a kid that gets up there and does a handful of jokes. It's just going to cut them apart and try and make a Instagram clip out of it
Yeah, because the
at an
clips are
open
meant
mic.
for the whole performance. It's just like sometimes it could be a 10-second little bit that someone puts graphics and
Yeah.
the captions are a goofy way, and there's maybe music or background effects added. So it's created like a product that's no longer a representation of like the reality of that moment. It's like a
Right.
new artistic vision in itself, which can be really funny. Like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's just the other part of the world.
Well, it sounds to me we're again kind of getting away from comedy, but you're a very serious young man, and obviously I have a lot of respect for what you've done business wise and everything. But it seems like you have a real plan with the comedy. Your whole that it's not just stand up the with your, and I'm not making fun of it, the Pokemon music video, or you doing a batch of stuff. Are you thinking about maybe one day trying to have your own show or doing a Netflix special or something like that?
I think the more I've done this, the more it's felt like that's possible. And I see how to get to that point, and I feel good about how the amount of work I've done so far has led to certain results of like better opportunities. And I'm not at a point where I feel like I can be like, "Oh, I'm going to be living off comedy as my primary source of income," but I think I can get to that point, and I now know how to do it. And I
Is
feel
that
like
what you
I have
want? Is that what you want, Patrick?
right now, that's what makes me happiest. I feel like it, and
Okay.
it feels natural too. I think that's the thing that I feel most trusting of this whole experience is that it doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel like I'm doing something for any other reason. The fact that
You
I
want to
enjoy
do you want to do a few more bits?
a
You
few
can
more
do a few more
bits.
bits if you want.
All right, let me think.
If
Let me think.
you enjoy doing it, I love watching you. We got some time.
Okay.
Look
All
to see
right.
how much time we got. We got a little time yet.
Okay.
Because we have
All
to
right.
save time for your comedy minute. I know you got a special one for me. I'm sure of it.
All
Go
right.
ahead, do a couple more bits real quick.
All right. Here's some more impressions. All right. This is
All right.
these are some Super Mario impressions. Right.
All right.
So this is my impression of Super Mario hitting the triple jump. All right. This is my impression of Mario falling.
Okay.
This is my impression of Mario if he was stuck on the wall jumps. That was dumb. Anyways, oh, all right. Oh, let me see. Actually, I got a bit. I got a bit for you. All right. Beep boop, beep boop. Cell phone, cell phone. Oh, all right. Here's my joke.
Okay.
So school shooters, right?
School shooters. I just had a guy do a school shooters joke the other day that when I stop the recording, I'll tell it to you. You won't believe it. Most
Here's
unbelievable thing.
my school shoot. Here's my.
I've never done a school shooting joke, by the way.
All right. Well, here's
Kind of like
my.
I've never done a black joke either. But yeah, we're doing great. We're breaking all the barriers today.
All right. Here's my school shooting joke. All right. So
Jesus God.
white guys get the bad rep for doing the school shootings, which is understandable. It's always some like lonely, disturbed white teenage guy that shoots up
Right.
a school. It's tragic. It's horrible, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is terrible.
But and at the same time, I think we also live in a society that is very racist against Asian people, especially Asian American men are kind of desexualized. They're viewed as unathletic, not tough.
Right.
Especially being a New Yorker and I guess I've watched New York Knicks basketball. That's why the whole Jeremy Lin thing was such a sensation, because Americans were like, "What? Like an Asian dude can be just as athletic as a white or black guy on a basketball court? What?" Right?
Right.
But that leads to my point. I think Asian Americans are just as tough as white guys because if you look at the highest kill count of any school shooting that's happened in American history, it was done by an Asian American at Virginia Tech, y'all. That means even in the school shootings, the Asian student got the best grade.
Oh God. Oh God. Oh
Yeah.
God. Don't end with that. Pick something else. You got
All
to
right.
do something else.
Something. All right. Here's something wholesome. Here's something wholesome.
Okay.
Um, here's just some random jobs I've worked in my life.
Right.
I worked at a frozen banana stand in Austin, Texas, called Bananarchy, y'all.
Right.
And it was weird. I would sell people frozen bananas that had like chocolate sauce,
Right.
marshmallow
I've seen them.
sauce. Yeah, yeah, sprinkles
Here
or
at the York
whatever.
Fair, they have them.
Oh yeah, they're great. They're
Dip
great.
them in chocolate and put peanuts on them and do everything. Yeah.
100%. And I would interpret dreams when I sold bananas. That's how I was instructed to do the job. So I was just giving people frozen bananas, and then they would tell me what their dream was. Um, and
I never got that part.
yeah, they don't tell you dreams at the state fair. I don't know what they tell you.
One frozen banana, please. Tell me your dream. Fuck you. Give me my banana.
But I have to work weird gigs all the time too, living in New York
Right.
City. Like sometimes I do like really random focus groups. Like there's one time, I kid you not, I like had to go to, sometimes it's wholesome. It's like taste this brand new cookie, right? And like just give your feedback to a group of researchers for like 5 minutes. You make $50, right?
Okay.
But then sometimes it's whack. Like there was one time I had to be in an MRI machine for 4 hours, clicking on these different pictures of which was a clown and which wasn't a clown, right? And then it took 6 weeks for an $80 check to mail for that horrific experience. There's another time I had to literally.
I got to stop you. Is that true?
Yes.
You
It was
really
an
were in
MRI
the
study.
MRI machine
Yeah, it was through like NYU. Like they do the big
three
universities.
hours and it was clowns.
Literally, it was a video game inside where it would be like two faces. One would be a normal face and one would be a clown. And I had to press left or right, which one was the clown face. And it turns out I was the clown because it took 6 weeks for
I
that
was
check
gonna
to mail.
say, hell, for $80, 3 hours. Well, you made 20
And it
something.
cost $75 an
Yeah.
hour just to walk around New York.
Oh my God, you are a character. You are a character. You got one more, and then we got to get to your comedy minute. We're going to run out of time. So give me one more, and then we'll get to your comedy minute.
Okay, one more joke. All right, so
Well, anything. We'll get to your comedy minute too, because as you already have just this thing.
all right,
God,
all right, all right, all right. Let's do a joke about um what I want to happen when I die. When I
okay.
die, I want my family to take my ashes and then on my funeral, there's gonna be a big dip of queso, and then they'll mix in my ashes, so it'll become chili con queso, and then each person at the funeral takes a ceremonious dip of the chip, and then they eat it. Well, that'd be so cool. That means your family gets to keep a piece of you with them forever, at least until they shit you out.
I was gonna. Well, brother, I got news for you. I like you.
Wow.
No, now hold on. Don't jump ahead here too much. I like you. I think you're funny. If you were to die and I was to be there, and they mentioned, hey, that dip up there's got a Patrick in it. It's I ain't eating it. No, but I wouldn't have to worry about me. You don't have to worry about me shitting you out because I ain't putting you in.
Would you smoke it? Something I hear
That I
people
would
make
do.
that joke.
I would do that. No, I'd smoke you. Yeah, they grind you up and I can burn you because I think I'd get a pretty good buzz. The way it seems, there's some shit going on with you. Some was there a foul tip as a youngster? Was there pressure at birth, Patrick? What happened?
I don't know. I'm probably I'm circumcised, but I'm probably C-section baby. I don't know.
I was actually born, Patrick. I was born holding the IUD.
What?
That's wrong. That's wrong. Well, Patrick, let's do it, man. Listen, we've had a lot of fun, and let's make a pact that we'll catch back up in a few months. We'll see how you're doing.
Sounds
Is
like
that okay with you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you have fun?
Yeah, this is so much
Okay,
fun.
so look, we got to do it. It's your time. We're going to run out of time.
All right.
Your comedy minute, Patrick Golden. Let's go, buddy.
So my name is Patrick. I'm originally from Houston, Texas, right? And I live in New York City at the moment. Takes
Right.
some time getting used to the subway system in New York City. You see all sorts of crazy stuff. You see people eating their full dinner meal at a packed 4 express train. You see subway showtime. You know, the dancers. You
Yeah.
see homeless people jerking off. I
Okay.
knew I'd see something especially crazy because there was one time I was on the subway. I was sitting across from 2 guys from the Bronx. And like, we've never seen this shit before. Because someone had gone and hijacked the intercom on the subway. They
Right.
literally got, I didn't even know that's something you could do. And they got on, they said, hey, everybody on this train could suck my dick. I was like, what the hell? And then the voice got back on once we got to the next stop. And they were
Yeah.
like, this is Suck My Dick Avenue. And clear for the closing doors, please. It's like, damn, son. Yeah. So that's my New York City 1 minute. Shout out.
Is that pardon my
That
ignorance again?
happened. That did happen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Welcome to Suck My Dick Avenue.
But I've been told this by New Yorkers that apparently when you tell someone to suck their dick in New York City, that's actually an expression of affection for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I go along with that. There's some affection there.
Hey, suck my dick, but that's almost like
Yeah, I know, Pat. It's kind of like eating your dip. I'm gonna pass on the old sucking the dick. I'm gonna pass on eating the dip. But I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stop the recording. Thank you so much for being here. We had a lot of fun. At least I did.
Yeah, no, this is great. I
Okay.
had a blast.
Cool. Hang tight for a second because I want to tell you that my school shooting joke, well, actually the one I heard from somebody. But thank you very much for being here. I'm going to stop the recording and we'll catch up a couple months. All right.
Deal.
Okay, cool.